Hi there, my name is Kay Moon, and I am a twin soul channel and Western astrologer. And this is a video about the new moon in Aquarius occurring on February 11th, 2021 at 2:05 p.m. If you happen to be on the eastern seaboard of the United States, this is the video for twin souls. And we'll talk about some of the things going on for twin souls at this particular lunation. Please check your time zone for your local, a time zone converter for your local times. So here we are at the new moon in Aquarius. It is exciting. I am loving this energy. It feels so much better for those who are energetically sensitive to what's happening interplanetarily. It's going to feel a lot better. I certainly can feel it. Hopefully, you can too. Here's the new moon right here at the 23rd degree of Aquarius in the sign, representing community, revolution, change, growth, transformation, quantum leaps forward as opposed to plodding step by step forward. This is kind of overnight sweeping change happening all at one time. And at this time, I went into a lot of depth about what this means to have so much energy in Aquarius. You can kind of see it here inside the Lightworker energy update. We've got Sun, Moon, Pallas Athena, retrograde Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, and Chariklo, all sitting inside of Aquarius. I went into a lot of detail. I urge you to have a listen to it so you can understand the context of the things I'm about to tell you. And also for those of you who are really starting to, you're feeling confused. If you're feeling confused about your twin connection, some of why that confusion is in existence is detailed in the new moon in Aquarius video for light workers. So I really support you to have a listen to that because contextually it'll help you understand the things that I'm about to tell you now. So this new moon at this time, let's just see, the divine feminine sits here. She's conjunct the south node and she is squaring Neptune. Okay, yeah. So there's a couple of things about this energy. With divine feminine squaring Neptune, one of the unfortunate things that can happen, because this is not a harmonious placement, is a little bit of self-delusion and starting to get some clarity about things, like false things that had appeared real for a long time, and starting to get clarity. Okay, this was real, but that part was false. This part was true, but that part was not. And a bit of a parsing out and discernment around what reality is coming online for the divine feminine. This is one of these periods of time where, because Neptune is squaring her position in the chart, she's really being asked to surrender her concept of what she thought the journey could, would, and should be. And this is true for divine feminines, whether you're in union, coming into union, not in union, union's not even on your mind. You're just trying to figure out how to be a good person on planet Earth. This is going to be true for you, that there's this moment in time where, really figuring out what is truth and what is real is going to be a big question for you. This questioning is going to continue, I would say, probably for about the next, let's just see. So I haven't looked at it thoroughly, but I do want to get a sense for you how long some of this lack of clarity is going to go on for you. It's the year. That's what I thought. Let's just see where we're at by December. Yep. Okay. All right. So, and let's just pack it up to October. Yeah. Okay. So, for the greater part of this year, this is going to be a year for divine feminines where there's just this needing, uh, waking up from illusions and moving into facing reality. Sagittarius, the sign that she sits in, is the sign of truth. It's also the sign of faith. Neptune is the planet of deception and illusions, but it's also the planet that most deeply connects us to the unseen world and that which is not able to be witnessed with the five temporal senses. So, one of the things you're going to need to do as you balance and juggle this energy is have a look for, where have you been abdicating your own intuition and your own faith and outsourcing it to other people instead of leaning into your own knowing? That's thing number one. Thing number two has to do with surrendering to letting things unfold, like letting things play out. Just because something looks one way one day doesn't mean that it's going to look that way another day, in another 6 months, another year, what have you. This energy is going to be a supreme lesson for divine feminines this year in surrender, and really starting to distinguish what I can have faith in and what's appropriate for me to have faith in versus what is just straight up fantasy, that is inappropriate for me to have faith in because it's actually not serving me. It's not helping me build constructively in my life. So, it's a deeply maturing energy in the divine feminine collective templates at this time as we work with this square from Neptune. So, the main thing that I want to leave you with about this particular piece, is to not, how can I put this? It's surrender is one thing, and that's about giving up control and giving up the idea that you can control your heart, that you can control someone else's choices and behaviors, all of that. Like, just this Neptune energy is going to teach the divine feminine very deeply about surrender this year. And it'll be tough. I'm not going to lie. Neptune lessons are tricky. They're very difficult to work with because just when you think you have something figured out, Neptune kind of dissolves it and gives you something else to work with. So it'll be a bit like putting together a puzzle. Likewise, if you find yourself, because this energy can be so triggering, if you find yourself in a deeply triggered state, it'll be really important to dial back your interaction with people who, are asking you to not believe your own intuition. And when you are listening to readings, not just mine, if you listen anywhere else on the internet, what have you, the important thing for you to remember is to use what is shared with you to validate your own knowing, not to outsource your knowing, not to utilize what somebody else is telling you to trump what you already know, but utilize it to validate what you've already been shown about yourself, about your connection, about your place in the world as a divine feminine energy. And if you're not in a place where you can do that, it's going to be really important to shield yourself, to not take in more information and start letting all these different concepts and ideas run roughshod all over your intuition. If you're struggling with hearing it, it's time to quarantine your intuition and give it the private space it needs to be able to be cultivated, so that you're not influencing it with a whole bunch of things that could throw you off track in terms of your own internal listening, and build your own intuitive muscle with this energy. So I really wish that transmission had come through with the Divine Feminine 2021 message, but here we are. The transmission is here. Take it for what it is. I trust that it came through at the right time, and those of you who really needed to hear that are hearing it now. There's a really, really, really harmonious energy here to divine masculine energy for the divine feminine. This energy represents two things. For many of you, this is an energy of either coming into union with self and really having a self merge and a quantum experience of self merging and understanding who you are at a much deeper level, the parts of you that you've locked away in closets, trapped in the past, put off until the future, all those parts coming together in a more integrated way based on the work that you're doing. Likewise, this could also be translated as union with counterpart, if that is something you both are choosing. I love this energy. Saturn, stabilizing connection, Jupiter, providing just the right amount of optimism and faith, and partnership energy from the partnership asteroid, but it's stable. Neither one of you is in delusion or fantasy about it. Venus is in the mix, bringing value and glue to the connection, and Mercury retrograde is letting you unpack some of the things that have happened in the past that you guys just didn't understand about each other, or reveal things about yourself that you never shared with them. This is beautiful union energy. I love this. It is such a gift, because now this stuff is starting to manifest in the material world for some of you. And because Aquarius being air, Sagittarius being fire, where divine masculine and divine feminine sit, for many of you for whom this is not materializing in the 3D world, this is a level of spiritual union unparalleled, at least in the time that I've been reading. This kind of spiritual union energy allows the energetics to start being connected in a way that they have not been connected before. Now, I will tell you, there are some people who hang out in spiritual union for years and nothing happens. They're just in spiritual union, dreaming about each other every night, married to other people. You can do that with your union energy. No, I mean, people do. But if you wanted something to happen in the material world, you'd have to start taking material world steps. So I say that for, the clients who come to me and they're like, what about my union? And I'm like, what about your marriage? How about that? So, you can create from this energy your next step with your counterpart, but you'd have to be willing to take some steps, is what I'm trying to articulate there. The thing that's really fun here about this energy that I really like about it is the Mercury retrograde. Most of the time, Mercury retrograde gets a bad rap, but this is giving us a chance to revisit conversations, review things said, reveal things that should have been said before, but are now getting said at their appropriate time, and making all of the difference. And I also really like Uranus's energy as well, because Uranus is squaring where the divine masculine sits, and that Mercury retrograde Venus energy. This is providing a level of divine insight, stroke of genius, stroke of magic that we just haven't had inside the twin templates in a long time. It's giving and imbuing divine masculine energy with the capacity to speak, to share, to reveal. And if not to someone else, at least to yourself, things that you have been unwilling to say to yourself, think to yourself in the past. These kinds of awarenesses can come up now and really change your life. So that's exciting. I think this is going to be, when we look back, one of those moments where we can really see, wow, things really shifted for me in my journey as a twin soul at that moment during that new moon in Aquarius in 2021. So super exciting. And then for a very small group of you, I've mentioned this before. Some of you have been, told or shown, I should say, that part of your leadership is, creating new definitions of love, connection, and commitment. With Venus sitting here, she can really represent the non-divine feminine energy. She's more the mundane feminine. This could really be an energy of some of you starting to form partnership, divine feminine, divine masculine, and a soulmate. The three of you starting to look at, okay, there's a child here involved. How do the three of us co-parent, co-raise, collaborate? How do we be loving, all three of us, to each other to, bring forward the best possible outcome? So there could be that as well. For some of you have emailed me about this. Some of you have said, at this time, you've been given revelation that your divine masculine counterpart is in fact committing to someone else who's not you at this time. The only thing I can say about that is trust. Trust that this is part of the journey. With Saturn, Jupiter, and Venus sitting together, that is a commitment energy. The divine feminine may not be a part of that at this time. She may be moved to do other things, learn other things, serve in other ways, be with other people, etc. Trust that whatever is in unfoldment is exactly what needs to be happening for now, and that you will come to understand it in the fullness of time, even if it doesn't make sense at the moment. Okay. I've mentioned this in other videos. I'm especially fond of Saturn's energy here, because Saturn is really forcing divine masculine and divine feminine to be in integrity with what's happening. Like if one of you is married to somebody else and you're starting to get clear, like, I can't live split, this is a moment of decision for you. Either you're not going to do this thing with your twin in this lifetime, and you need to be honest about that. If you intend to fully stay married to someone who's not your twin, or you're going to start being honest with your partner. Look, here's what's really going on with me. I'm in love with this person who's my divine counterpart. This is what that means to me. This is what that means for us. I'd love to talk to you about that. The Saturnian energy is really forcing us to not be of split energy anymore. It's really forcing us to look at ourselves and say, okay, here's the moment for quantum leap. How do I want to move forward? How can I move forward in a way that is, really supportive of a new beginning in a lot of ways? Uranus here is squaring that Saturn directly, and it's bringing enlightenment about the bonds and commitments that you've made, and whether or not it serves you to stay bonded in the ways that you are. And if it doesn't, but you're choosing it, you're also going to start to get revelation about the cost of that to other people and the impact of that on the people around you. There aren't easy decisions, when it comes to figuring out, are we staying together? Are we separating? None of it is going to be easy. The Saturnian energy here is asking you to be in integrity, even if it's not easy. So, as I mentioned, this could be a revelation, like a sharing of things that you've never shared before as you're coming together in union. This could be a revelation or a sharing of things with a soulmate, if you are with a soulmate and not with your twin, about yourself as a twin soul, what this means. It could mean all sorts of things. This could play out a number of ways. As I mentioned, the timelines really kind of split back in December for twins. So I'm trying to make sure that I speak to the different groups. It'll be really critical. I'm going to say it again for you to lean into your own intuition here and trust it. What's not your story, do not force it to be. Pay attention to your discernment. Okay. All right. Let's talk about what's going on for the divine masculines more specifically and directly. In addition to this kind of burst of insight, awareness, wanting to share it, and communication energy that's here. For divine masculine energies, there's a new sheriff in town. Uranus, Lilith, and Mars have been sitting together in the sign of Taurus for some time. And in their square to where Jupiter, the divine masculine, sits, what's going on here is this revelation of some of your own values and what it is that you really need in order to be able to move your life forward. There's kind of a take no prisoners, take no BS attitude energy here, where you're just kind of clear in a way that you probably haven't been in a long time. Look, if it's not working for me, I'm just not doing it, period. I don't care whose feelings are hurt. There's this real kind of like, it's not, that's the right word for it. It's like a standing up for self energy here between Uranus, Lilith, and Mars and Taurus, and Jupiter, Saturn, Venus over here in Aquarius. For divine masculine energies, I can really see how there have been times in the past in your connections where, the divine feminine has really led the connection in terms of, let me shine a light here and kind of lead this in love. This is a moment really where I see divine masculine energy can start to do that. There can be a switch. And what the switch is that, you're really recognizing in a lot of ways some of your own impact on your divine feminine counterpart. And you're also recognizing your own, like how some of the choices that you've made have had resultant consequences in your own life because of you coming to terms with recognizing and seeing, wow, okay, here's some things that aren't healthy for me. I can see now how these things have been unhealthy for these people I've been connected to, maybe including your divine counterpart, your divine feminine counterpart. I got to make some changes here. And I just want to applaud you because there's a level of leadership coming through divine masculine templates right now that is absolutely, it's outstanding. It's wonderful to see. It's this energy of recognizing how you need to rise and the kind of man you want to be and what it is that you want to give to planet Earth and who it is you want to be on planet Earth, as opposed to letting yourself be dictated to by anyone, including divine feminine energy. So kudos. I love this. It's a beautiful energy. Like I said, it's kind of uncompromising. But even that for me, that's amusing, that there would be this uncompromising energy. There's a part of me that stands up and shouts, bravo, seeing this energy come through for divine masculines, because there has been so much compromise and enslavement in divine masculine templates for so long around doing what this person wants me to do and then doing what that person wants me to do and letting this person define whether or not I'm a good man or letting that person define whether or not I'm a good man. You know, much of this energy that's flowing through divine masculine templates right now has to do with supreme authenticity and like honesty, really, starting with honesty with self. And there's a freedom here to be experienced. The more honest you can be with yourself about where you're at and who you are. And so, in so doing, you know, I get it, you know, on the divine feminine end, there can be a lot of like frustration and disappointment. And why isn't he this? And why isn't he that? And on the other hand, man, like go gentlemen, like set yourselves free. Be your own man. Do it for you. Like that's the kind of leadership this world needs from divine masculines at this time. If you want to paint, paint. If you want to act, act. If you want to build a mechanic shop, build a mechanic shop. You know, whoever it is you want to be, this is the year of reinvention for divine masculine energies. And it's going to give you that opportunity to be that man. Go do it, create it. Let nothing stop you. And this energy here from from Taurus, Uranus, Lilith, and Mars is really kind of egging you on a little bit, like pushing all the buttons in the right places to kind of say, that's right, I will do what I want, damn it. And I will not apologize for it anymore. And it's such a gift, such a gift. When we set ourselves free, it gives other people permission to start seeking their own freedom. And in that mirror process, as the divine masculine gets really free in his concept of self, divine feminine is activated to create freedom for herself from illusion as well. Okay. So it's a mirroring in a lot of ways. You know, he's freeing himself from, you know, misconceptions about who he is, and she is freeing herself from misconceptions about the journey and her faith. And in so doing, both have a real shot at having stability and materialization of union energies in the 3D world. So that's what I got for the twins. Okay. Sextile, the divine feminine. Yep. Okay. Okay. So those are the big things. Have a listen to the main video, the Lightworker energy update, because it'll put into context how this energy can be leveraged in each of our individual lives. Also, have a listen to the because there's one of the things that I'm noticing is there's a lot of confronting energy occurring right now for divine feminines who are both in union, coming into union, and, you know, those who are in deep separation. And what I mean by confronting energy is that the stuff I was talking about earlier with Neptune, speaking to the divine feminine, I specifically had Carrie from True Insight come to teach the meditative practice that they do at True Insight, because it's one of the key tools you can use to find your center in the midst of so much kind of chaos energy that's on the planet right now, so much new energy, challenging energy, trying to find what's true for you in your circumstance. That meditation was the one that I started with in 2017, and it completely opened up my spiritual gifts in a way that I hadn't had the capacity or ability to have before. So for divine feminines in particular, that healing and that meditation, you're going to find it goes quite a long way. And that school True insight is basically kind of like a Hogwarts for uh, people with spiritual gifts, man. So I really recommend you check it out. Um, Especially if this is a period of time where you know you're ready to cultivate more of your own truth and not rely on outside sources so much. That one will get you there for sure. Beloveds, I thank you so much for liking, subscribing, and sharing this video with others. And I will see you at the next lunation. Take great care and bye for now.